Okay, so this is the LED unit like I was talking about, Troy. So you can kind of see I have 8 pucks of 3. Right here we have the 2 reds, 2 cyans, 2 actinic purples, which are these ones and this one. These 2 and these 2 are the UVs, and obviously the whites are the whites and the royal blues are the 8 on the outside. I'm running them on the 7 by 11.9 heatsink, and I would say from the water line, I would say probably, because this is about 12 inches, I'd probably say about 18 inches off the water line. You can see my coverage is pretty decent. I do have a little bit of a dark area, maybe from like here down, so like 1 inch, and then like 1 inch right here. So I would say it's probably a good 28-inch spread from these at 8 inches above the tank. I'm running the 80-degree optics, but you can honestly run them without optics to get a little bit better spread and get a longer heatsink. I just chose this heatsink because I wanted to make an AI Soul clone, and this was the closest heatsink they had to that size. So for the wiring, I have my whites on this wire and my blues on this wire. These 2 black and white wires are for my moonlights, which if you can see are right there. There's one right there and then one right there, and those are on a timer from the Reef Keeper. Let the camera focus. There you go. So I have the fan clipped in right here. I'm probably going to zip tie that for the future. There's the fan. I'll put the thing right on the fan. You can barely hear it running. So that's on right now and I can barely hear it. So I have the wiring, and it's a little messier than it usually is just because I just took the tank apart yesterday to take out the sump and add a different sump in there. So the wiring is just this stuff right here. Like I said, shrink tubing makes it really easy to kind of hide your wiring. I also use a lot of zip ties, and I zip tied parts of the wires to the metal bars. I'm just using like your generic shelving brackets. I painted them black just to make it a little cleaner than the aluminum look that it was before. For the, let me see if I can get down there. For the connections into the digital aquatics module, it's like these little serial ports right there. I have 4 of them, 2 for the moonlights, and then 1 for the whites, 1 for the blue, for a total of 4. Like I said, the wiring looks a little messy right now. It was a combination of the fact that I just moved this stand over and the fact that I didn't have any exact measurements to go off of. So I did use a lot of excess wire, more than I needed, way more than I needed. So honestly, if you do a little bit better job of measuring than I did, just because I was building this light in San Antonio, and this tank is in San Marcos, so I didn't really have the measurements, and I didn't really even know how I was going to hang it until that night. This is just drilled into the stand, and it's hung on the hanging kit, which is included with the purchase of any fixture that has a heatsink. So essentially all this kits will come with this hanging kit. It's a you just unscrew this part right here, and then you hook it through the heatsink right there, bring it back in, screw it in, and you can push this right here, and you push it in, and it'll give you a little bit of slack, and you pull it out, and then once you pull it up, it locks back into place. So right now it's locked into place through that. Honestly, customer service is really good. I've messaged both them and Rapid at the same time, and I got roughly a similar response time from Rapid LED. The shipping is pretty expensive, but like I said, even with shipping, I still save quite a bit of money. I highly recommend it. I'll show you how I have it programmed into the Reef Keeper. Let me just get down here. So for this, you just go to Menu, Modules, Advanced Lighting Control, and you can see my fans just kicked on. So from there, you just set your timer, and you do that through the timer function. You set your on time, and you set the amount of time you want it to actually be on, and that time is the time you want it to be on minus the ramp time. So I want my blues to be on for 12 hours, so I put 10 hours and 30 minutes with a 90-minute ramp time. So you go to Function, Advanced Light, you set your maximum intensity, your white timer, your white ramp, and you leave the blue intensities alone, even though it's for a blue light, because that white and blue is for the AI soul, the actual AI soul. And then you do the same for the blues, or I guess the whites, and you just do them also on the white timer. If you do it on the blues, it won't read it correctly, and so it'll just like be really messed up. So yeah, there's, like I said, the wiring isn't crazy bad. That's it right there. It's just I didn't have measurements, so I had a lot of slack that I needed to zip tie. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I would try to give you a close-up of some of the corals, like the Magician's Palace, but honestly the fixtures, color, and the camera really don't agree. So unfortunately, this would probably be something you have to see in person. But yeah, so there is my tank. There is that fixture, and I'm about to go on a quick errand, so maybe later tonight I can draw you up that diagram to show you how it is wired. Essentially, it's just, here's my drivers up here. You have a plus and a minus from the driver, and these are the fans that you're hearing right here, so that's not the actual LED fan. So from the positive end of the driver, you're going to go to the positive end of your first LED. So it's positive to positive on the first connection. And then you're going to make a negative connection from your first LED to the second LED. And then from the second LED, you're going to take the positive side and go to the next negative. So from there, you're going to go from the negative to positive, negative to positive. So you're going to daisy chain it all the way to the end. So you're going to start on one LED and you're going to end on a different LED. So for this one, I started here and I ended right here on the red. So from the red, it's on the negative because we started on the positive. So when it ends on the negative, you take the negative end of that and you connect it to the negative output of your driver. So you come in from the positive output of the driver to the first LED, you make your way around, and then you end on the negative side of an LED and you plug that into the negative end of the driver. And that'll be a series connection. I don't know too much about wiring them in parallel. I know it changes a little bit, and I know you can do it. It just, from what I heard, it's easier to do it in series, and in parallel it won't work with the Reef Keeper. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll be able to try to answer those for you. But yeah, so just let me know. You have my number.